Hello and welcome to On Wrist Reactions. My name is Blake Bettner, managing editor of Worn and Wound.
And I'm Thomas Callara, editor at Worn and Wound.
We got three really cool watches here, well, groups of watches, I should say. We're going to start with a Seiko. This is a new Arnie, an SNJ reference here that was released earlier this summer. They've made a few changes to this watch. We've got a couple of older variants here next to it. I know this is a watch that we're all kind of fond of. What was your take on this watch? Are you a fan of the Arnie?
Yeah, you know, I had done the intro to this when Seiko had released Surprise Us All, right?
Yes,
that week,
yeah.
right? This is my actually first time having an Arnie in hand, and having these two to kind of compare and contrast is just giving me an idea here of just kind of like the evolution of the watch. And if I'm not mistaken, the screen had changed positions here.
Yeah, the screen is migrated down to the south end of it. One of the interesting things is look at how the hour markers are cut off by the screen. So it kind of looks like a few like heads peeking over a ledge a little bit was my first. So this is like an older reference, SNJ reference, also Arnie. And one thing that I'm just noticing right now, it has like this I don't even know what you would call this. A section of the case that's been screwed on there. I wonder what that's about. It looks like you could open it with an Allen wrench. Is it on both sides? It's just right there. I don't know what that is. What do you suppose is in there? What do you suppose that's for? I don't really know. Wrong answers only. Right? It's a little storage compartment maybe. But this case is kind of like gnarly enough. It's got all these things kind of bristling off the side of it that, I don't know. It all works together, right? It's best not to dwell on any one part of it in particular.
I think you kind of see kind of the difference in the dial as well. It just seems like this has more of a open dial as opposed to like this version here, where it just seems like the dial's more like scrunched in a way, right? Do you like notice that now? Like, do you see it as like that I pointed out?
Yeah, I think it's hidden under the hour hand now, but that Prospex logo is moved up here, which kind of clears some of the space down below, where it's all three of those elements are kind of stacked down there. I guess they had to do that with moving the LCD screen down there. But it's really cool. One of the other details that is on this that's absent from this is the colorful notes on the pushers when their protectors are unscrewed. So when they're locked, that you don't get that color, you don't get that element of color, or our favorite, the pop of color. But when you unscrew them, you can see it's like red and blue, whereas like on the Street Series one, they're just red. So I think it's a nice touch, and I don't know if it's safe to walk around with those things unscrewed. I guess so, because you want to see that color, right? I don't know the exact dimensions of this case. Obviously, it's not small. It's a little thick, but the lugs are so short that the lug-to-lug length is quite manageable. So these feel really great on the wrist. This Safari here is actually my watch, and one that I really love wearing a bit. I like the squared-off hour and minute hand on this too. And I'll be honest, I like the LCD screen up on the top of the case. What's your take on this? Would you wear it around? Which one of these would you go for?
You know what? When we brought these three watches out, this is kind of the one I gravitated towards. I do kind of like the scrunched look of the dial. Yeah, I mean, this is a fun watch. I believe like Annie-Digi watches now are kind of like having a moment in like across different brands.
Absolutely.
And I think that this is just one of the fun takes of it, of that. Yeah,
this is a great execution of the Annie-Digi, and I agree. I love seeing more of these come to fruition from brands. They're really fun watches, and they've got a great function set.
Definitely.
If you're the type that uses all the kind of different, I usually have mine set on the day and date on my screen, so you get the time, the day, and the date, which I find pretty handy. Up in that screen right there, but it's got the mode button, so you can kind of cycle through all the different things, your different time zone, your alarms, your chronographs, and all that kind of jazz. But at any rate, if you have any other questions about this watch, we will be sure to include them in a longer term review. All right, next up, We are talking about a new watch from Bespoke Watch Projects from our friend John out in the San Francisco Bay Area. Are you familiar with Bespoke Watch Projects?
You know, I ran into their booth last year at Wind Up NYC, so yeah,
yes,
definitely love what they're doing.
Amazing guy, awesome to talk to about this, and as the name implies, doing bespoke watches.
Right.
This is a new watch called the Intaglio 38. Obviously, this is just one potential example of what this watch can be. This has a, well, I guess it's a bronze or brass. That's got to be brass, right?
That's what it looks like.
A brass case. To me, it's 38 millimeters. I think there's an ETA movement in here. Domed crystal. What do you think of this?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look 38. I mean, this looks kind of like
so it's kind of
30,
like cushiony,
36, right?
A little.
Yeah. It's a nice mix of I get like dress watch kind of like vibe
right.
to this.
It's kind of like dressy really. Field watch a little.
Right, exactly. No, this is an awesome watch, you know, and I love the combination here between the brass and then the leather bracelets. So yeah,
it's a sharp watch. I can't tell if that is it blue? I think it's a dark blue dial. Let's see here. We've got well, a few scales around on the inner part of the dial. We've got the cardinal positions marked with Arabic numerals here in kind of distinctive, almost like modern-esque style. And then there's an inner ring that kind of follows through on each of the 5-minute segments. There's a lot to look at and enjoy on the dial. Yeah, it feels pretty easy to read.
Yeah.
But I could see, well, I guess these are bespoke, so you could get this done in a number of variations according to your tastes. But the case shape and the movement and the crystal, I believe, are what would remain the same here. So it's a sharp watch overall. I gotta say, I like these a lot. I like what John is doing there. I think these range from $700 to $1,200, kind of in that realm. So I'm not normally a huge fan of like kind of broadsword hands, but they're not exaggerated as such. All right, so if you were going to spec one of these out, what kind of combination would you be thinking?
You know, I do like like I said, just the case, the color here. You know, I am a fan of the sword hands, and I do like the contrast here with the red seconds hand. This is pretty spot on. Like you said, had mentioned as well, kind of like it seems like there's a lot going on with the dial. But then not really, right? It's kind of like it has like this minimal kind of like thing going on as well, and especially with the no date dial.
Love the no date.
Yeah, likewise. And I think on a type of watch like this, like, you know, that was like the right move there. And that's exactly how I would kind of spec that out as well.
I like the thick chamfer too that kind of runs the length of the case wall. It's very sharp.
I don't know if you could just see this here, kind of like how the case kind of just angles where the lugs are, and should wear pretty nicely on wrist.
Yeah, I think this would curve very beautifully around the wrist.
Yeah.
One thing that is kind of curious about this is the logo, with like 3 circles that contain a circle. So it kind of looks like hay bales stacked. I'm not sure what that is supposed to signify. We'll have to ask John there. Again, there are many other variations of this watch. We have a few other variations over here. We'll be doing a review on this. If you have any questions about this or curiosities about this, let us know, and we'll be sure to incorporate that in our review. Okay, moving on. Our third and final surprise pick. This is a watch that you have not seen yet. I don't even know if you're familiar with this brand. It is an Horage K2 GMT. So this is a watch that we have in for review right now that Zach Weiss is working on. This is a GMT watch. Obviously, this has it's actually a 12-hour GMT hand with an AM/PM indication and a power reserve up there at 12 o'clock. Check it out.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, man, this is pretty handsome.
You like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. And you mentioned that it's 12-hour GMT?
Yeah, the GMT hand is a 12-hour GMT hand.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it has the smaller 24-hour hand for the AM/PM indication.
Okay. Now I'm trying to see where the GMT hand is here. Is it like...
Interesting.
Right.
So the way the hands are are situated right at this moment, actually. The minute hand is covering the regular hour hand.
Okay.
And then you are seeing the...
Gotcha. Right, yeah, there you go.
Well, I guess you can use either of them for whatever purpose you want, right? Like, I don't know if you need one of them to be a local GMT hour. Look at, I'm looking at him. He told me not to do it.
We found a flaw in the design.
No, I looked at you because you were resetting the watch, and I thought it was funny that it just happened to be at this moment. Okay, you can't see it from this angle, but the local 24-hour hand is actually hidden underneath.
I'm starting to see it now. It's starting to shift there.
It's coming through.
Right.
I think that's the local hand, right? Well, I guess they're both 12-hour hands, so you can use either of them however you see fit. But this watch is a rather interesting design. It's got kind of the integrated bracelet look. It's got this strange. It's not like a coin edge bezel, but it's like a checkered bezel pattern or something that's on there. Is it 24-hour bezel as well, or not? No, it's not.
No, it's actually it's a
minute.
Yeah.
So it's a minute's gradation with the first 15 minutes fully marked, which is there any 24-hour markings on it at all? Well, I guess you don't need to if it's just a 12-hour GMT hand. Then you'd use it just like you would a regular watch. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm picking it up.
Yeah, definitely. And then this is a power reserve at the top.
Yeah, up at the top there. And then, of course, my least favorite thing, a framed date window. Do you have any feelings on framed date windows?
You know, I'm neither here nor there on it.
Okay, you're agnostic on the framed date window. So turn it over and check out the back. So this is Horage's home-built, in-house, home-cooked movement. It's a micro rotor. As you can see, it's a pretty thin case too, and especially when you're talking about the kind of complications that this thing is rocking, pretty impressive. I think there's a lot stuffed into there. I think it's like 10 millimeters thick or something like that. Let's see here. So quite thin. And then again, the kind of articulating integrated bracelet here.
Now, movement-wise, is this a true GMT, or is this like a flyer or a collar?
It's a true GMT.
True GMT. Yeah.
So I think this is a little bit pricier than some of the other watches. I'm not sure the exact price of this. I think north of $5,000. But I think this might be a movement that other brands might be looking at using from them. So could be interesting. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the aesthetic of this, like that texture on the bezel, how the name is on there, the power reserve location, and of course the frame date window. There's a few things that I would tweak about this, but it's very identifiable as an Horage. I've seen a few Horage watches now, and they all kind of have a peculiar look to them. It's almost followed through here in the aesthetic of the movement itself, which has a pretty distinctive look. So you can see this kind of like a gridded patterned bridge over there that's over the going train, and then there's this Geneva striping on this other bridge. It kind of goes back and forth, and then you've got that kind of dot pattern H on there. Very distinctive look, and again, easily identifiable as an Horage. So I like this. They've got the lug holes for the spring bar, but it looks like you need a special tool to unscrew them.
Yeah.
So. Are you a fan? You're a fan of GMT watches?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And travel watches.
Most certainly, and it's kind of like it's been like several years now where, you know, just me included, just everybody's just been clamoring for you know, more approachable GMTs, and we're starting to see that now. So yeah, definitely.
All right. So overall, this is a watch you'd wear?
Yeah, I mean, hey, like if it's around and handy, yeah, why not?
You grab it and walk out of that.
Sure, yeah.
All right. I think this would look better personally in like a black dial or a gray dial or some other color.
Right. You already know that how I feel about black dials too.
Yes, so. I know. It's
All right.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
And also check out the quick adjust in the clasp there.
Right.
So I think you just press down on one side and then you can pull it out.
So go here.
I feel like these are kind of becoming commonplace, which is a great thing. A lot of brands are providing these kind of quick adjustments in the clasp of bracelets. It's kind of the Annie to play now, which is great. I don't know if you have any watches like this. Do you use it? Would you use it?
Yeah, well, the
like
quick
a
adjust.
quick adjust? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
oh, it's hot today. I'm a little sweaty.
You know,
my watch is a little tight. I'm gonna pull that out a little bit.
That's the that's the common reason why people do that. Me personally, I haven't had the,
you haven't had that?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Do you wear your watches generally a little loose or a little tight?
A little tight, a little snug.
Okay. You like
Yeah, I'm like kind of known to just have that imprint on the.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. All right, so this is the K2 GMT. Very interesting watch from Horage, and maybe a movement that we will see more of in other watch brands, which would be very welcome. Overall, I think very tidy movement. Aesthetically, maybe not quite for me, but maybe for Thomas. So there you go. And again, we'll have more details on this watch coming soon to Worn & Wound. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and we will address them in the review. Let us know your thoughts. What do you love? What do you hate? What would you change about any of these watches? And if there's anything specific you'd like to see on a future episode of Honest Reactions, let us know. Until next time, thanks for watching. And if you like this content, please be sure to leave a like, share, and subscribe. It helps us out a lot.